Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another animation analysis video, and ladies and gentlemen, look at what's on your screen. I knew that we were going to be taking a look at the animations for Broly and Trunks soon, but I certainly did not expect to get the animations that we got tonight. So this is a very interesting one because, again, as we discussed in the Tech Trunks video, we are aware that these guys are going to awaken into an LR, which, by the way, will be absolutely insane that they're going to be getting even more animations than this. But, obviously, with what we have, I wanted to take a look at it because it is really interesting. So, starting this video off is not actually technically one of their animations. However, at the moment, we're kind of assuming that this is going to be added into their animations basically when they awaken into an LR, right? Obviously, this here is everybody from the quest mode giving Trunks and Broly their energy, which is such a sick animation. And, may I add, I don't want to be that guy, bro, but looks better than half of what we got for Worldwide. Bro, this animation is just so good. And, of course, we'll dissect it in a moment. But by golly, this animation looks fantastic. Now, for right now, this is just a cutscene that is currently present in the Dokkan Quest mode. Basically, when you get to the point in the story, this, cutscene will play on the screen. I'm assuming that that animation will probably end up being their intro or their active skill or something like that when they become LR. But for now, we have this as their super attack animation, which is actually really interesting to see the expansion upon the Tech Trunks super attack, which actually after the super attack finishes here, I'll pull that up so we can have that for when we take a look at the super attack in depth. So either way though, this is super exciting, and obviously we'll take a look at this now, but if this does get added into their animations proper, that would be super hype, I'm not gonna lie. And not to mention, I do still think the regular super attack looks good, and we will definitely dissect that too. Alright, so first of all, let's take a look at this crazy animation here for Trunks and Broly getting their energy for everybody. First of all, before I even mention, the actual animation, bro, this is just such a wild sequence of events. Piccolo on screen, and then having Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, and of course Piccolo giving them their energy. And then cutting to Paragus, Nappa, and Raditz giving on their energy. Bro, I need to catch up on the Dokkan story because this is wild. I know Jay Fanta has been doing a series on it, so if you want to check out the Dokkan story and you don't want to use your stamina on reading it, you can definitely check him out. In fact, if I can find a playlist, if he's got one, I'll throw a link in the description to that. But I digress. This is just absolutely insane to take a look at. I was seeing some people on Twitter who weren't as in the Dokkan sphere, or even some of the comments on my own upload of just the rip of this from the game, who were like, wait, this animation's real? So let's go ahead and take a look at it. As I always like to say, by the way, I'm by no means an animation professional. I just like looking at these animations. They're fun, and I think I have a good idea of what makes a good Dokkan animation. Now, we obviously have Trunks and Broly breathing, which is really cool. Obviously, this could just be a static PNG with the both of them there, right? Kind of just panning over to them. But it's nice that they're actually implementing this little bit of minimal movement to kind of give it that little bit more life, right? We then, of course, cut to Piccolo shouting at Broly and Trunks, which is really weird to hear him say both of those names in the same sentence, referring to them teaming up with him. But this animation of Piccolo looks really good, and I believe this is actually from a specific scene in Dragon Ball. It might be from something in one of the Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans movies where Piccolo is in that pose, because I swear it looks really familiar. But either way, we have this fantastic animation of the aura, obviously surrounding the different characters. The backgrounds look great too. This is a very simple animation because obviously the characters aren't moving or anything like that. They already have their arms outstretched. But of course, the actual energy on them looks fantastic. And I love the way here for this animation, right? It glows initially, right? Where it's kind of like the same sort of pattern as they had. Almost looking very wavy, right? Before it kind of dissipates into a brighter glow. That is such a cool animation right there for sure. And not to mention, right, in about 5 seconds, I believe, because I swear I saw it there. Yeah, when they power up, oh my gosh, dude. Let's take a look at this in the frame by frame. When they power up into, I mean, I guess it's just kind of like their aura flaring up, right, would be the best way to describe it. Obviously, after the glowy bit of energy, it's going to be really hard for me to get to the exact frame. We have an impact frame, right? And then obviously we have the black frame, and then we have another very spicy impact frame, obviously giving them some really cool shadows. It'd be honestly super cool to see the asset look like that, while also like having the colored version of them, kind of like having that shadow. Almost kind of reminds me of like a Legends Ultra sort of. But yeah, then obviously we have them come on the screen, and of course their color palette changes a little bit to reflect the fact that they now have the aura around them, which looks awesome. I always love this look for Broly's blue hair in this particular form that Z Broly has. It's really, really cool. But yeah, super nicely animated. Their clothes, their hair, right? Everything here is super well done. Again, that very nice minimal movement that gives it a lot of life. It's super nice looking. It's a great looking cutscene. So now we have the super attack, right? Which I'm kind of assuming that this will be the 12 key super attack. Again, we don't know. I mean, maybe because this guy is just the TUR, if they do add like another card, or another character rather, excuse me, into this like card proper, right? Where it'll be technically 3 characters in it rather than just the 2 of them. Then maybe they can't use this as a 12 key, but if it does just stay Broly and Trunks, which I'm kind of thinking that it will, right? Then this would definitely probably end up being the 12 key, because a lot of the time with free-to-play units like this, their 12 key super attack ends up just being the TUR super, or it ends up getting expanded upon a little bit when it becomes a 12 key super attack. But we have Broly and Trunks standing here. I like both of their arms moving a little tiny bit, right, just for the beginning of this, obviously with both of them readying up. And of course, we have the very nice card art on the screen. I'm going to love to see when that's an LR, bro. Oh my gosh. We have Trunks charging forward, which looks great. Love the hair movement. Love the anime motion lines in the background. We do have very, very basic punches, but again, the other thing to keep in mind is that this is a free-to-play unit, so of course we can't grade it on the same scale as a Big Boy Dokkan Fest or LR, and not to mention I think it's still fine, right? It's just a couple of rapid-fire punches and kicks, and I think it works well for what it is, right? Not to mention, as we're going to take a look at in a second, obviously it is basically just a Super Saiyan version of the base form version of Trunks that was, you know, the initial version. But of course now we have the addition of Broly, which I love this part with Broly flying forward. That little part right there, dude. Oh my gosh. So first of all, Broly standing there looks just fine, right? Obviously it's kind of the same pose that he had in the beginning when he was sort of stancing up with Trunks, right? But I actually think this works well, right? Having him kind of come up a little bit, and then they immediately change into Broly charging forward, right? If we go to this frame, right, you can actually see that it's just a quick change right there. But I think it works well enough. And again, since Broly charges forward so quickly, you don't even really notice it. But I really like the hair movement there. I love the movement of him kind of bringing his neck down a little bit. All of that looks really, really nice. And then, of course, Broly charges in towards the enemy with a blast, right? Which looks really good. I gotta say, I think the sweep of the hand, right? And Broly's actual, like, animation on, like, himself, right? On his body looks super fluid. I love the shading on him as well. It looks super Z Broly-esque. The actual Ki Blast barrage looks really good too. And obviously we have that smack into the enemy with a couple of very nice looking explosions. And of course Trunks coming in with the blue background to finish it off. And again, this is basically just a Super Saiyan version of the base form one that we saw previously, right? Where we have this little slash, right? And then of course, you know, the end screen with Trunks looking. I commented in the original one that his face looked a little bit goofy, but obviously it is keeping to the original super attack, right? Which if we take a look at here, you can see how they expanded upon it with the Broly one, right? Keep in mind there would obviously be an enemy sprite there. This was just my upload from Thieving 6's website. But, oh my gosh, the quality really shot down there for like 2 seconds. I apologize about that. Regardless, though, you can see that obviously this super attack, right, they basically just inserted Broly into it, which is cool because you can kind of see where it ended up being cut, right, to then add Broly in there. Man, I never noticed how weird Trunks' hair looks all thrown up like that in base. And it's not like moving or anything, it's just a PNG. But yeah, obviously with this in mind, right, it's really cool that they were able to expand upon this essay. You know, and obviously not only just, you know, basically give Trunks Super Saiyan hair, but also, you know, add in Broly to kind of battle with him and do it in a way that doesn't make it feel weird, right? Like, this just feels like that if the base form Trunks super attack didn't exist, right? None of this feels out of place to me with Broly being there, right? It all feels very fluid, and I think they probably made the initial super attack like that on purpose, obviously, because then, you know, I'm imagining that these were both made at the same time, right? That would only make sense. But then obviously, you know, they can insert Broly into it, and it's kind of a natural progression of the essay. It just works really well. So very, very cool stuff. Again, I am really excited to see these guys eventually become an LR, and with this animation from the Quest Mode movie, I am really hoping that this ends up becoming like an intro animation or an active skill or something like that, where they get powered up, or if this is just their intro, I mean, that would be super sick too. Whatever they end up using that for, I really hope that that ends up just becoming an animation in the game, because that would be awesome to actually have that be like a playable animation, even though that sounds kind of weird because you're not playing the animation, but it is playing on the screen. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. What do you think the LR will look like? Will it still just be Broly and Trunks? Will they add in another character? What do you guys think they are going to do with this unit? And of course, if you did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like and a sub. I always love taking a look at free-to-play units because it's always so refreshing. And not to mention, obviously, with a crazy card like this, I mean, a Trunks and Broly team up, like whoever would have saw this coming as a playable card in Dokkan. It's always just so cool to see what they got cooking. And as I said in a previous video talking about this card, it really gives me a lot of hope for potential what-if units in the future. So let's hope they continue on this track, because that would be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.